My internet got disconnected. Not sure if it's the weather or just Verizon. Either way, I'm back on air. Just to give people a minute to kind of come back in. Um, I am gonna roll the ads out the gate right now, just so like if anybody does want to come back or is still awake, they can rejoin us before we start the tarot, and I can finish eating my soup. So I will be right back. Sorry for the connection issues. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about all that, everybody. I was in the midst of taking my little lunch break, and the stream got disconnected, so we had to just start that bitch over. Obviously, the internet's back. Thank goodness it was not a real problem, but just a temporary setback. Probably was for the best because I did get a little bit more time to enjoy my food instead of scarf it down. So I think overall, blessed, winning, what have you. This time I remember to get my LaCroix. Oi, oi! Okay. And I still have water, which means I haven't drank enough water tonight, which might be why, I don't know. Sometimes there's just this very fine line of life and death. And walking it is one of my favorite fucking things to do, man. I swear to God. Now that I ate, I'm like, damn, I need to drink water. But neither spiritual messages came through without the use of drugs. So sometimes it is just better to smoke weed because that way I know I'm taking care of myself because I will have an appetite and I will get cotton mouth. So I will have to eat and I will have to drink water. But when I don't, I get so into the delirium of being partially dead in that moment of like sleep deprivation, which again, smoking weed, it gets me tired at the end of the day. It helps put me to sleep because otherwise, it's like the things that you can do and see in those other realms when you are deprived of food, water, and sleep is like doing drugs. And not everybody knows, but a lot of people who do drugs associate a lot of their experiences with like seeing God, or like ego death and really intense stuff where it's like you don't need the drugs, you just push the brink of life to the point where you're on the verge of death. Same effect. Not recommending it at all. I'm saying it's really bad, actually. Just smoke weed. Really, just smoke weed. It's not that big of a deal. You shouldn't risk dying. I do it unintentionally, right? I notice that the closer I get to my period, the more water retention and bloating I have, the less water I consume. It's like I'm not getting dehydrated. I'm retaining water. So it's a mix of things. It's not just me trying to get to a more spiritual level by any means. This is again one of the many reasons I do smoke weed. Not well, sort of religiously as in spiritually and often, but also medically. You know, I don't have a med card because I don't need one because I'm allowed to smoke recreationally, but I definitely use that shit as medicine. And it's funny how you can watch like this 2-hour stream. I wasn't smoking, and so like sometimes people think, oh, you're too stoned, blah blah blah. Nah, you should see when I'm not. It's a very different energy. And even right now, I feel like I'm teetering those worlds, being very clear minded and also clouded up a bit. And it's good to, I think, when you are interpreting, delivering, or reciting messages for people, sometimes it's good to cloud your own judgment and cloud your own person, when you want to be nothing more than the conveyor of these messages. So it's a personal practice and it's not for everyone. And I get that. But I personally will and have been very seriously on the brink of death to the point of like hospitalization. So I'm just saying, smoking weed is better than that. Anyway, I feel like a lot is coming up already. Like as soon as I started shuffling these cards, there's like so many on the fucking table already. Oh my goodness gracious. This mystery deck is always so intense. And it's like not a bad thing. And it's not even all that exhausting. It's just kind of one of those things where it's just like sometimes so fucking repetitive that like it's almost like what's the fucking point? All these cards that we've seen before. This is gonna be our future card. Yeah, okay. Um I think we'll definitely get some channeled messages. We'll definitely get some channeled messages. I think Okay. I really did want to do some change tonight with these cards, but you know, life's gonna have it how they have it, and I have to be okay with that. Um, so Source, are you even still here? I feel like he probably went to sleep when we got disconnected. It has the out. Either way, Source wanted to do alien stuff, conspiracy, which this deck is for. But this deck also, as already explained, I know, right? As already explained, oh, good. This deck is also simultaneously, for the reason of extraterrestrial connections, is also used for. So I'm not gonna lie, I see both in this. I see both. So, how can I tell the difference? It's very much based on what cards are on the table and the sequence in which they arrive. So, if I'm seeing a lot of like feminine, masculine cards, it's definitely going to be twin flame readings. If I'm seeing all the aces come up, it's definitely channeling, you know? Don't stay up. You'll be fine. You'll actually love it. It's only 3 a.m. You're okay. You got this. It's actually only 2 a.m. Isn't it? Come on. What if you get a day job and this is one of the last streams you get to watch? Come on. You should stay up. We're talking to the aliens for you, sorcerer. I'm just kidding. If you gotta sleep, you gotta sleep. You're always so encouraging of me ending my streams and taking care of myself and sleeping and rest well. So do what you gotta do. I was just teasing you. I was just being my goofy self. Absolutely no pressure. Please listen to your body. If you would like to sleep, please sleep. With greatest regards from us. Okay. All right, bottom of the deck. Fourth position, water. Remember how earlier I was singing? You're so vain. You probably think the stream is about you. You're so vain. You probably think the stream is about you. Don't you? Don't you? And that, my friends, is for these vain ass masculines. Okay. Look at this dude staring at himself, holding that mirror right up to his face, looking at him, embodying feminine energy in the most toxic way fucking possible, right? Good night. Thank you for lurking. And then right here we have first position fire. Okay. So again, the aces in this deck, indication that alien messages are coming through for sure. And why? Because look at him. They're like one scaly guy. Like that's it. That's the thing that tells us when. So these will get intense for sure, but I kind of want to do the lighter cards first. So now the new bottom of the deck is 11th position water, emotion, and intellect. Okay. Cut it, and then we have 13th position water, queen of water. So the feminine coming in to rectify the situation by sort of pointing out the obvious flaw in the masculine, which is the vanity. It is the ego. It is the focus on the self and nothing but the self, right? And to the degree that it is affecting others and their relationships, right? So we also have second position water here, which is the love card. Two of Cups is love in like every deck, unanimously across the board. Even the Thoth deck, it's love. Okay, so we also in the context of like the future cards, we do have the union here that will take place where it's like, yeah, you can come into your own or whatever with this, union connection, etc. But there's still work to be done that you thought maybe would be done by now, kind of, if that makes sense. Because once again, the twin flame connections are meant to be two completely healed full versions of oneself coming together to be a couple or to be a unit, right? So, ninth position water, the femmes are ready. Whether it's the females, the femme presenting, the femme leaning, the water, the earth signs, like whatever femme means in your dynamic, the femmes are ready and they're looking up, they're looking positive, they're seeing the light, they're seeing the end of the tunnel, end of the road, the end of the struggle, you know, coming up to surface. The masculines are fucking going insane, basically. Like, I don't even know how else to put it, but then to go from that vain ass dude staring at himself in the mirror to eighth position water, where you're finally in full alignment, but you're looking completely unhinged. It's still an ego thing where it's like, okay, I'll put the mirror down and I'll focus on myself for real and I'm still great. And it's like, no, that's cool. You are great. But the ego still has to remain in check, okay? And the counselor landed on my lap. So this might be something where the crone, yeah, especially the older person in the dynamic, oddly enough, is the one who is the immature one. So if you think that someone being older than you means they're going to guide the way and they're going to be the ones to take the first steps or show you how to do it, they're not. They're the ones who need the fucking therapy to get through it. Like, yeah, and I just slipped a card in reverse. Okay, so if third position Earth is planting seeds, putting it in the reverse is digging them up. Yikes. Yikes. Okay. Yikes. Mm. And when I got these, I'm gonna jump to these future cards because I think we'll get more into like a channeled message in a second here. The femmes are praying. They're fucking praying. They're praying these masculines get their shit together, but also they're just praying that life works out in general because at this point, that confusion we were talking, wow, I shuffled and cut the deck and it's still there. What we were talking about earlier with the confusion, faith, about having faith right now. There has been some kind of, I don't want to call it a psychic attack, but we use the analogy with the psychic Pokemon about confusion. There's like intentional confusion. There's no other way to put it. There is intentional confusion right now. And I guess the reasons or the motives for that confusion is still really unclear. Now we have third position Earth in the upright at the bottom of the deck saying the seeds are planted. Somebody intentionally confused you, and there is a chance that this was a feminine person or the feminine in the connection is the one who is confusing, or could be like getting like, I don't know. There's intentional confusion, but the seeds have been planted. If you're confused, I hate saying this, if you're confused, it's like you're in the right position. You're kind of in the right place with it. Like you should be confused because that's what was supposed to happen. 13th position, water, queen of water. The curiosity doesn't kill the cat, but brings out the courage. Okay. Death and rebirth. Let it happen. Let it come to them. Integrity. You don't just be yourself and be right by you and the people you love. And 10th position water is it's almost exactly how the feminines want it to go is how it goes. It's almost as if they're orchestrating it while sitting back and watching it unfold to a certain degree. We have abundance. Okay. We do have the 8th position water again. This unhinged but aligned male masculine. But something about that ego or that pride has something to do with like ninth position air. It's somehow how you work together. There's something about it that unifies you. It's almost as if one person's very humble and the other one's very vain or conceited. Then they come together and they basically are like this and they do this for each other. And the balance is to not get like this, where one person's on a pedestal and the other person's rock bottom because they were once the opposite, but just trying to maintain the balance of being a little bit of both and help remind each other, hey, you need to be more assertive in yourself and be more confident in yourself. Hey, you need to be a little less aggressive and kind of take a step back and humble yourself, you know? The child is here, so it could be the beginning of something or something very new. Someone might have a child, or you might have a child with someone. I was gonna say with this person, but that wouldn't really be true of a twin flame connection unless it's saying you're meant to have a child, but that's that one made my brain hurt. I feel like that's not what it is at all. Um, Queen of Water, there might be a child's mother involved. Yeah, see, juggling. Second position, Earth. They're worried that they won't be able to like devote time to you or something like that. But yeah, I don't know what that. I think it's actually that they have no like kind of like there's no tie of loyalty here, but there's manipulation. Like there's a vibe of manipulation somehow. It's like this person's not being dishonest or disloyal, but they're somehow still being blocked, stalked, confused, and watched, targeted, and stuff. So there's something weird um, surrounding this. But death and rebirth, it will change, and you'll gain control again with that clarity. Yeah, the maiden going on a journey. So there is that. But love is here. You know, it might be two people in love or some kind of love you're discovering, but there's also this fifth position Earth of like not wanting to show it. So you might be they might be in love, especially if there is an Earth sign. Again, femme leaning. If there is love, they do not want to show it. If there is someone else, they do want to hide it. King of Earth is here. So it's almost like the masculine's finally coming out of that egotistical water energy that makes them vain and into themselves, and rather stepping into the earth energy that makes them more grounded and stable in the way that femmes are. Because then we have this 10th position fire. And you see how this chakral alignment, okay, very similar to the other card without all that unhinged, chaotic behavior behind it. So this is true alignment. This is truly the masculine in his fullest, purest form. And that is when he decides, yeah, I do need to be more stable. I do need to be more grounded. I do need to show the feminine that I can and I have and I will. Love can be scary, yes. But if you heal yourself before you fall in love, it hurts a lot less to know that you're okay with or without. We have masculine and feminine, right? So healing the balance within you is what will bring the love to you. We have the counselor, third position water, ninth position water, and seventh position water. Holy shit, we got all these cards, but they fell out together. It's highly feminine energy right now, all water. Water, 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 water. And it's like the masculine presenting water and then three feminine presenting waters. So the masculines need fucking therapy, most likely. And that's what's part of what's taking so long. Whether this is the fire and air signs in the connection or like the men or masculine leaning, there's some need for like therapy, whether it's couples therapy or where it's like a like personal thing. There's a sense of sobriety too, where there's a chance that like some of them are dealing with addiction rather than like the mental stuff, and there's a need for kind of like rehabilitation entirely, right? Like that's the energy that's coming off that. So brace yourself, femmes. You're in for a fucking ride, but look, they're still staying positive and seeing that this is still the way they want to go, and they are not only going with the flow but directing the flow and saying, hey, if we're going to work together, we're going to work like this, we're going to go this way, I'm going to guide you, yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a very lot of helpfulness coming from the feminines to where they're basically saying, yeah, I got you, I got it, just do it, I'll be there to support you through it. See, I'm ready for anything, I'm bracing myself, I'm all in, like at that point, right? It's love. Love maybe makes you do stupid things. Okay, so the reason I thought about sobriety too is because I saw this. This is like the future cards, and I saw this earlier when I was first pulling the decks out. It was 10th position Earth on its side. She's taking her mask off, but it's on its side. So it's like when it's in the upright, it's about being the authentic self and being vulnerable and revealing who you truly are. While in the reverse, it's more about like hiding who you are. So at this point, you're slowly maybe revealing yourself or not even sure what to reveal or what to say or how to think or feel about a situation, right? And behind it is desire in the reverse. So until this person can get sober, until this person can get sober, there ain't going to be a connection. There's a big need to be sober energy. Okay. Counselor, I think it's about drugs. I think it's drug counseling. I think it might be like quitting alcohol or quitting drugs or something. Like there is a need to get sober, get help if you want to be in this connection or have this love for this lifetime for yourself. There's a need to get sober, whether it's you or them. That is the last thing that's the last thing holding up this connection. Emotion, intellect. Emotionally speaking, you don't want to change your whole life for one person, but intellectually speaking, you know it's a positive for you, even if it is a positive for them too, for you to be sober and clear-headed. Yeah. Six of air, walking through, becoming the best version of you. You know, counselor, man, it keeps showing up. Somebody needs help. Okay, the sage, hermit mode. Could be a Virgo. Oh shit, poily. Could be a Virgo. But yeah, let's crack this open and try to get up there. I know, that's rough. That's a rough cut. Cracking a cold one with the boys. I feel like this is to complete our twin flame readings right here, and the rest we'll see what this means. Yeah, no, I bet. I bet. So, what's the outcome? Face down. The outcome. It's all in reverse. Queen of Earth in reverse. You don't step up to the plate. You don't show up. You don't do it. Yeah, these are all in reverse. Okay, let's just look then. Let's put it this way. Going through card by card, really just reiterating how bad of a choice it would be to walk away right now. Nothing works out. Heaven and earth in reverse. The hero in reverse. Choice in reverse. Fire. Air. Air in reverse. Okay, so it's worse for the masculine than the feminine. And let's put it this way. Without this feminine, more or less nothing in your life works out. You never know your joy. You never know true pleasure. You don't get to be the hero in the story. You don't get that moment of shining glory. I don't know how else to put it. Like there is there's a greater loss than a person. It changes the whole trajectory of your life because you didn't make the choice. You didn't make the choice to get sober. You didn't make the choice to reach out. You didn't make the choice to like go for these things or do these things. And so you never face them, you never obtain them, and you never move on. But here's the thing. At the end of this stack of reverse cards, this one, when in the upright is all about facing the unknown, it's in the reverse. So here's the thing. Here's how this happened. You're like, well, how, if I'm really into them and they're into me and all this stuff, blah, 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 why didn't I approach them? Why didn't it happen? Why didn't? Well, your fear of the unknown, fear of rejection, fear of how they feel, fear of what they'll say, fear of what will happen, all these fears of this unknown information of how there's so many different variables. It's unknown how this will work out. It's unknown how this will play out or how this will go over. And so being afraid of the unknown puts you in a position where everything in your life becomes very predictable forever. Because if you're afraid of the unknown now, then everything will become known to you. And guess what? That's not a fun way to live. I'll tell you right fucking now that it's not a fun way to live. Is to just know what's coming at all the times. You know, like meeting someone and thinking, oh, we'll probably be together for 6 months before we break up because that's around the time we would decide to take it further and we won't want to. Damn, came true. That kind of thing. Nothing will ever be unknown anymore. It'll never be a surprise. You'll never meet anyone new. You know, you'll never go anywhere else. Like, it just changes this whole trajectory of your life to like reject this person or to not put in the effort to be the person they want. Kind of, you know? Heaven and earth. One is heaven, one is earth. One is euphoria and one is reality. Okay? It's a good combo. That's how you create joy, holding up the whole world. I don't know if that's a good thing, right? So yeah, mask off. You better be honest about how you feel, right? Hey, I think you're in too deep. And I really care about you, so I want you to get out now. I want you to be safe. I want you to kind of quit doing these drugs. I want you to quit drinking. Say it. Say it. 'Cause that's what love does. That's what love does. Facing those challenges head on. Sometimes it's about the feminines bucking up, becoming the hero, becoming the masculine, putting in the efforts, bracing yourself for anything because you know it might not work necessarily, but you got to try. Hey, no, I don't want to fight about this, but like it's a problem, all right? You got to do what you got to do, even if it means cleaning up the energy around you to bring in the new energy that you want to. If it's not someone in the situation, look, the way you orchestrate it. Okay. Somebody's crying. Integrity. I feel like you got none left. Oh, my head hurts. Somebody's crying. Third position, air, just trying to learn as much as possible about this person. That seems weird. But they're doing the same thing. They're doing anything to see you, anything to connect with you, anything to get your attention. And they're doing anything to learn what they can about you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like the feminine and the masculine are in their own ways trying to get to one another by any means besides speaking. Okay, time to fucking face it. Aw, I'm sorry. Yeah, that makes sense. Look, it's on target. You're the target. About to get. Okay? Seeds planted. If somebody says, oh, I could never be with a smoker, I could never be with a drinker, I could never be with a such and such, and you think that's your person, but you're like, oh man, I would never give it. Maybe it's time you ought to. And maybe in time you're like, hey, maybe I was a little bit harsh. As long as you're willing to do it or willing to try it, if it's something reasonable, then by all means, let them take control. Let the femmes lead a little. Damn. Show some faith, hope, and love, all right? Hero. All right. Very cool. It's a journey. Go on it. The crone. You can start anytime, any age. It does not matter. Your habits can be broken and remade at any given point in your life. A little deprogramming, reprogramming, right? Some people don't even realize that till they're 60 years old, man. You're never out of time until you're dead. And even then, you can just be reborn into a new life. Try again. No big deal, man. You never finished, you never completed. You may not remember anything, but you can always re-find out. I'm hearing that Beatles song. Something in the way she moves makes her like no other lover. Something in the way she moves. Don't want to leave her now. You know I believe in her. You ask me if my love grows. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know all the words, yeah. You get it. That is tough. It can be tough. And like just because you choose someone now doesn't mean you'll be together forever. Might be something else, you know? And if you are dealing with really a twin flame connection, you're young. It might take years for this process, but you had to be committed to the process, even if you forget why, right? Um, but also could be that someone's got a short life and then and you lose them having never known, and that's why it changes your whole trajectory. 'Cause you're like, damn, I don't get a second chance. They're gone. Fuck. You know, especially if there's drugs involved. Oh, I'm just having fun. I just party. Like, it's not a big deal. It's like not, I don't even do it every day. You're lying. You just don't do it like every moment of the day, you know? Stressful shit. Getting a real dark read from that. Like someone's using some hard ass drugs. And as much as I don't want to say it, the song that comes to mind does say it. And so it's like, you know, it's that shit. It's that shit. It's not good. You don't play with that. You take it or leave it. You don't dabble casual. It's just not a thing for many. Anyway. I know some people who well, I met a guy a long time ago who had a tolerance for all drugs. He would sometimes be able to get fucked up, and then the next day he'd have no hangover symptoms. I don't even know if that guy was human, come to think of it. And like there would be no craving, no addiction. Like he just never got addicted to drugs. He was kind of like into getting fucked up, but because he just never, I don't know, he was just very resilient to it. Um, yeah, the Crone. It's like he would do drugs but not really get fucked up, or like it would take a lot to get fucked up, so he would just experiment as much as he wanted and never fucked. Right. I wonder if he was a Virgo. I could probably look it up if I wanted to. I would almost bet he was a Virgo, right? That's so funny. Um, Journey and the Crone, both very much journey cards, both the femme and the masculine going on a journey for sure. Yeah, I could see that. I'm kind of like that too. Again, with like all I do is smoke weed, and the only other thing I really do is drink alcohol. And obviously, I stopped drinking alcohol for like an indefinite period. It was like well over a month, and now I'm like, meh, I can take it or leave it. It's just fun to be able to order a drink, you know. It doesn't hold. This doesn't rock my world. But marijuana, I'm at the point where it's like I actually do want to stop, and I just feel like it just would not be a good idea at the time to cut off my medication, right? And that's like, damn, sucks that it has such a bad rep or does kind of give me stoner moments. I'm not immune to that. I'm not immune to being so silly or having a stupid time, you know, or just being too stoned out of my mind. But, um, you know, when used like I do, ritualistically or medicinally, it's like it has a totally different effect. 41114 I like that. Um, Stone to the bone. And I know I feel like I've just my whole life been around people who smoked weed their whole lives until they were old, and I know people who are in their 70s and still smoke. So it's just like it never dawned on me to quit entirely just because I've taken breaks. But I also see myself being sober, but I also need to figure out a better way to treat my PMDD. Okay, like I cannot just quit cold turkey smoking weed. I've done it before, and I still have all of the same side effects of PMDD, even when I was quit cold turkey for at least 3 months, which is both cycles getting a turn, right? So I've experimented with this for years, especially having not known what it was and having no help with it, was experimenting with my, hey, I always listen. If you're going to be a scientist, you damn well better experiment on yourself because otherwise it's unethical to experiment on other people, even if they subject themselves to it or volunteer. You know damn well most of them don't. Let's not get into it, okay? From fucking Nazi doctors from here to Germany. You know what I mean? Like, let's not even think about it. But either way, I've been experimenting with this for a long time. I had these symptoms before I ever smoked weed or drank alcohol. Had them when I did, had them when I stopped. It at least helps curb it, for now. There is a need for me to find something that will help intermittently, so that I can reduce or choose when I smoke rather than depending on it for my medicine. But alternatively, the only other medicines that I could take, I've tried technically and hate and are kind of worse for the body. You just build up more hormones when you have a hormone imbalance problem. That seems dumb. Or like antidepressants when you feel fine some of the time, or like really, I don't know, manic almost, but then you've tried bipolar meds and those don't work either. What are you supposed to do? I smoke weed, god damn it. I'm so sorry. If these cards were trying to tell me to get sober, I don't know what else to fucking do at this point. I'd gladly get sober if there was an alternative to my alternative medicine. Jesus. Yeah, it's frustrating, you know? The wed. I'm wed to the wed. Mary Jane. So if you're new here, yeah, we're pro weed kind of family, okay? Mary Jane. But that's why I try to keep all my other drug use in check, including alcohol, yeah? Especially alcohol, it seems, because everything else I don't even quit with ease. But the counselor, alcohol's easy to dip into because it's legal, it's accessible, it's la 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 la. So let's get into these. Y'all want to get into some channel messages? You're going to love this. I don't know what species this is, so I'm channeling. This is channeled alien messages. Yeah, literally welcome. If you have been on my channel before, but do not, we're ready? 44444. If you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, let's take it step by step. Yeah, you should. Maybe we can talk about it, Poily. It sounds like you being young and dealing with that is a lot, and you might not know who to turn to because a lot of people are going to say, let people live their lives and don't fall in love. But I would advise otherwise. I think it's a very important thing to do. So we can definitely talk it through if you need to. I'm here for you. Thank you for always showing support for me and my channel and the gratitude you speak into life. That is very, very precious and important to me. This is why I don't do goddamn personal readings, because if you're here for me, I'm here for you. And if there's a good mutual exchange of energy, it will show. You will know. Okay, so let's go. You sweet little puppy dog. No, just because you're young. Um, King of Fire. So there's some kind of like gaseous creatures. I feel like they're gaseous creatures, and that's why they're presented with fire energy. So necromancy is like the reanimation of the dead in some capacity, whether it is physically, mentally, or spiritually in some way, right? So I consider myself a necromancer because I channel the dead. Sometimes in visions, sometimes in apparitions, which the difference would be visions are more seen with your third eye, whereas apparitions exist in their own body of some sort. I don't see apparitions very often, and when I do, I don't always like it. Sometimes they really can be some of the shadow people and stuff. They're creepy death. showing up in my room sometimes. Like, the apparitions are a bit much for me, but the visions are fine. Like, I like to be able to see who I'm talking to or channeling, right? So, um, that's necromancy. And in my pursuit of necromancy, which is something that began basically when I started really understanding the story of Jesus, which was when I was around 5 or 6 years old. Um, because that's when I developed a bond with him, and that was my first contact with the dead, right? And they emphasized that he was dead, and they had his dead body hanging in front of us when we prayed to him. So that was my first experience with necromancy. So you could say that I've been doing this for like 25 years. But in the evolution of like my life and doing tarot and kind of like just in general being a scientist, I would have to bring that up because I have always been the type of person who wanted to believe in things like aliens or wanted proof or wanted to study quantum physics even though I didn't have the grades to, 47, 47. um that I spent a lot of my free time in my youth and even now studying these things that were just sort of, I mean, they're like very taboo theories, but in those studies, in my, once again, the pursuit of necromancy and simultaneously the curiosity about quantum physics, it seems that I have interacted with aliens at some point along the way, probably a long time ago, because even as a child I remember thinking that there was always in aliens, maybe I was abducted or something and then nobody's told me, but um, or no one noticed I was missing. Really don't know. Um, I just remember being paranoid about it at an early age, and like maybe I caught some too much X Files as a child. I don't remember watching it. My parents never watched it. Other people in my life probably did, but I don't know where I had this fear from because I was into aliens and wanted them to exist because I liked Lisa Frank and stuff, right? And we had, it was the 90s, so we had the alien content was everything and everywhere, and I was just like very into the idea of them being real, and I feel like they presented themselves to me at a very young age, and that's why I was able to kind of do those deep meditations and lucid dream by the time I was like 8. I feel like it happened fast and it happened when I was really young. So for a long time, I was like, I want this to be true. I want to believe this, but like I didn't, and I didn't really trust myself, and I probably was freaking people out and had no fucking idea. But there was always this uneasiness around human beings for me and them, where like these ideas that no one likes me and I can be so unloved, even though people show me every day that they choose to be around me and spend time with me, is like really disheartening and fucked up. But it's been going on for such a long time because I think before I could kind of like use my powers for good, I would either like, bring out the worst in people or have a very defensive version of myself up or be closed off or feel uncomfortable. And, the untempered PMDD definitely would have like the raging fits or whatever. And that's this whole shit show of a mess. Yeah. Um, but either way, nowadays, some people are more into it because, of course, I have a handle on it in that sense. But I can understand that I've freaked people out for a really long time because I've probably said stuff that made no sense to me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about or what the fuck I just said. It was moments in which I'd probably be channeling the dead or the anybody and had not had a grip not knowing what I was doing. So like some stuff would make sense and some stuff wouldn't. And there was things where I felt compelled to do it and I had to do it and I wanted to do it, but I didn't know why. And I didn't know what it was. So like, the scribing was big for me back then. And I didn't think of it as scribing. I just thought it was stream of consciousness. What's the difference? If you're connecting to spirit, you're connecting to everything and we are all this one thing. And that would be universal consciousness, quite wholly and truly. So, in that regard, it was like a bit obvious. But I didn't know. I didn't think I just wanted to believe in these things. I was Mulder, I want to believe. I didn't necessarily have any concrete proof or any evidence 1212 on my pre-roll that it could or would or does exist. And anybody who did had this stigma around them, and I was already so ostracized, like just from my peers and and anybody, right? I always felt so lonely from like a young age that I didn't I didn't want to align with it. I didn't want to admit that I felt like I was hearing, not even hearing voices. It felt there's a difference between hearing voices and talking to people. Because sometimes I do hear voices and I hate it, and sometimes you can't get them out of your head. But I know when someone's talking to me because it's not always, you don't always hear an audio of it. Sometimes they come as images, they come in dreams, they come in thoughts, music, and things, and thoughts of your own where you're like, huh, like it's not just a voice in your head. And that's what makes it different than someone who does have like audio hallucinations. And I've had to learn that the long way because if you say that, people initially are going to accuse you of being stuff like schizophrenic. I went through that. You think I didn't? It takes a lot to get here. And that's what people can like put it on the internet and pretend they do it. I'm sorry. I saw some fucking stupid ass reel about someone who claims to talk to the dead, and it's like you wouldn't be fucking bothering with this corny shit if that. Shut the fuck up, dude. Like it's just like no, 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 that's not you. I mean, and if you do, you talk to the wrong goddamn people because you ain't learned two fucking shits of it. That's sacred work you're doing, and you're gonna just blast it all over the internet. Like, I don't think tarot is sacred necessarily. Like, I think all practices have sacredity to them, and it has. To some level, it's sacred, but it's very communal work. It's very much you're using a tool by using a deck. You're using a companion by reading for anybody. You're tapping into many different energies, entities, people, etc. So it's very much a collective thing, no matter how it's used, whether it's privately, publicly, online, or in person. Like it doesn't matter. Tarot is always going to have that kind of beauty. Thank you. Thank you. I heard that. Somebody said I have beautiful energy. You're new. You're watching me. You're new here. You're the reason that I got very eloquent. Okay, number five. I don't know who it is. No, I can't tell. But thank you for seeing that. It is beautiful energy. But there's something about tarot to me that's very far from being intimate when it comes to spirituality, where like spell work and potions and stuff like that, I think is more intimate because it is between you and God or whoever you're making it for or with. Like that's spell work, that's for you and your magic. But tarot to me, it's not, I shouldn't say it doesn't feel sacred, but it's not something that feels very intimate, even when you're using it in a personal way. Because again, there's so many influences in a tarot reading. So now I'm a little more nervous. I don't know. I don't know who it was, but I feel your heart beating too. That I said something to you because you didn't want me to know you were here. But that's why I giggle that people lurk on this channel. Like you can't, fucking can't. I feel that. I don't know. Whew, I don't know why you'd be lurking or why it would matter, but okay. Perception. It could just be me. It could have nothing to do with me either. That's the thing. You may have not come here specifically because it was me, but you came here to see something or to learn something or hear something. You came to the tarot channel for a reason, but that seems like I don't know. I said perception, so it's like no, no, no. Of course, I could be perceiving things wrong, but something's telling me in my gut that I'm not. And that's far from being the point. Seventh position, Earth. This is about being grounded. So know that your energy, your very professional energy. I don't know what the fuck time of day it is, but your energy, presenting in a very like a business-like way, um, came in and even grounded my energy. And that's part of what balances us as people. Okay. Not you and I specifically, but just us as people, in a very general way, is that there is a type A and type B. It may be a type C, okay, but there is the cog uh, in the machine, so to speak, when you have gears and squids. Like, I wouldn't know how else to explain that, which is so silly because it's like the last thing that would make sense. But there is this kind of balance that comes with it where again, it's very hard to align with this stuff, and it took a lot to get here, and it's kind of not even worth much at this point, other than my own sanity. and having a sense of community and having people who will openly, even if they're anonymously doing it, openly kind of back or support me. Especially financially, it's new to me to be completely dependent on these things. So it means a lot that y'all do help, even the lurkers. Okay, the follows mean as much as the subscriptions, but if you do subscribe, you never have to watch any of my ads, which we do have to roll in about 6.5 minutes. So we've got to keep an eye on that clock, or they just pre-roll automatic, and I don't know when. So let's not find out and just stay on top of it. Sometimes I forget though. If I kind of preferred. We do need a lurker emo. Oh my god. I'm sorry I haven't made the emotes yet. I have a long list of things to do, and it's not even that long. It's mostly creative stuff, and I'm just like, like I don't know lately. And then I've been cleaning because it's springtime, so I'm like, I need it to feel right. And then I'm like avoiding it because I'm like, maybe I'll go somewhere new. And then I'm like, okay, but I actually should focus on this. And it's like, girl, just do a do list. Boom, done with it. Okay, so anyways, before we get any further into this tarot, oof, I feel like we should perhaps just roll the ads now. I do have 5 minutes, but I feel like that was a good, whew, conclusive thing. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Probably. We'll see. That's amazing. Um, okay. Well, whatever it is, I bet it's a great opportunity. I thank you already. And I wish you all the best of luck with everything that's happening for you and unfolding. Okay. I think I'm just gonna roll the ads. Take a second. Take a goddamn breath of it. This is not the hour mark. This is actually like the 4 hour mark. So it's odd that I feel like it's going well and I'm digging this energy and I don't feel tired, but I know I'm getting into really fuck me up hours. But I guess it is now Monday and I'm streaming tonight, so it's kind of part of my schedule to just fuck around and find out. So I have quite a few cards left on the table. I wanted to wrap it up soon. It's been about 4 hours, yeah. I don't know how long the other video was before the disruption and the connection, but I think we're around 4 hours, not one. So I'm gonna roll these ads, I'm gonna breathe, I'm gonna stretch because I have this very nervous energy in my body. And then I'm gonna come back and there's like a mess of fucking cards on the table, but I think I'm supposed to just kind of like and channel. So yeah, I wanted to give a little background information on me and how I got to the conclusion that I channel aliens so that y'all new people didn't think I was totally fucking crazy. Where it's like, no, no, no. I tested myself, got tested for crazy, and like honestly, inconclusive. So we're leaning into this. I will be back in about 3 minutes. Hopefully, you'll still be here. Okay. So I like just stretched so much and it felt so good. And I noticed that when I'm sitting here streaming and we're mostly chatting and I don't really get into the tarot, I haven't been getting into it lately. I just haven't been. Like, I've been fine, but we needed to pull back and take a break, and I had to want to reconnect. And I think it's very hard to resist the fucking extraterrestrial energy. It's hard to resist the aliens. Had it not been suggested earlier by our dear friend, I probably wouldn't have chose this, but I'm glad that we did, and we've been trying, and we haven't quite got through to any dead people lately because I don't think I want to, but I think they also are trying to keep some mouth shut type energy. But see, we're walking into the unknown. We were talking about that earlier, where you can change the entire trajectory of your life and nothing will ever become a surprise again. Or you can take this leap of faith and go on this journey now instead. And being in your ego or in your pride is just going to hold you back and meet fire with fire, right? So as you walk into the unknown, what is it that you need to know? The counselor, fifth position, Earth. You need therapy, bro. That's all there is to it. You need therapy, bro. It's like it is a water, so it could be the feminine, but then to see the masculine presenting the feminine energy, and this in both cards, where they're like masculine people in feminine elements. So it's time that you take the lead of the feminine masculines and like go to fucking therapy. And I think it has to do with quit drinking before you make this offer. Like you need to say, hey, I'm committed to getting better. Or I kind of already started seeing someone professionally speaking. So I'm coming in with this offer and I'm letting you know that I'm taking care of it. Like that kind of. Okay. Relax. Nobody said anything about custody. I don't think I don't think there's like that kind of thing. It's counseling. But maybe the reason I said that is because it is about some for some people it might be custody if the counseling stuff doesn't make sense or you're already doing it. I don't know. That speaks on something, but I couldn't tell you. Um, again, just be careful. Like don't seek battles that aren't there. You know, you want to say, "Oh no, I need to do this instead." No, no, sounds like you need therapy. Yeah, no, 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 no. Especially if you want this union, especially if you want the authentic version and want trust and want to appease your guides, your intergalactic guides that brought you to this feminine, masculine, divine union connection that they're trying to bring in for you, this queen of earth that you already know who and planted the seeds to bloom. You already did that. So that's who, okay? No more roadblocks. No more roadblocks. No more Roblox. No, I'm just kidding. I don't care. Play Roblox all you want to. Emotions, balancing your emotions, making sure that the ones you feel are worth it. Okay. And cut the deck. Ugh, y'all are making my head feel so weird. Who are you? What are you trying to connect to? My mind is an impenetrable force. I see you. I feel you. I don't care if you're a rando and I don't know you. You can still have your eyes set on things, right? You're not gonna come here and harvest my energy. Yeah, right. King of air, eight of fire, eighth position fire. The feminine being very protective of the masculine for once, right? Praying for them. Literally, you're wondering what they do behind your back. They pray for you. Oh, good. Okay. They pray for you. They want to be vulnerable with you, but they have their guard up and refuse to show you your hand, even though they want to, desire. Yeah. But they're still very protective of you. Praying for you, even. The father. You might be a father. They might be the father, but the masculine, right? Abundance. He's about to come into some money. Something. King of Earth. Or money, 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 money. And the father, there's protecting him. So masculine's about to be sitting pretty, even if they're not now. And they're about to be matching that feminine before fucking sure. Emotions in check. Sixth position air. Fifth position fire. Working on your masculine to masculine relationships when you balance with the feminine. Okay. And learning how to balance it all, learning to embrace that anything may happen and to be ready for it all. No, struggling quite a bit here. Seventh position, Earth, being very rooted. We already did these. Perception. Yeah, we already did these. Ooh, I just twitched. I don't know. I stopped drinking caffeine a while ago, and I don't feel tired, but maybe my body's trying to be tired and the caffeine's got me wired. I don't know. Probably channel messages. Okay, these gaseous creatures. First position, fire. Oh god, yeah, that's what we're doing. It's like a radio tuning. I wouldn't know how else to explain it. Um, that it's like when you start to get the incoming messages, okay, so the twitching made me think, yes, something's gonna come possess me probably, or just like come down and test me. Um, but I was hearing now all I can hear is Leonard Cohen, but I heard some message like through the fire and flames, and something about, the great escapades and something, moving towards fire, burning fire, um, who by fire, hence the Leonard Cohen. So, um, but almost as if you were tuning a radio and these messages are all coming in like, you know, um, there's a thought. There is a thought among you which beckons a clause of truth. One there, dude. Yes. There it is. So there is a thought, and I don't mean thought like, oh shit, like a thought in your head among you. It could be the general population. It could be the seven of us, but there is a thought among you that beckons the truth. Truth meaning the light of day, and to be spoken to. Let go of the things you once knew. Fear is inadequate in love, or if you fear it, it's not true. Hmm. It's one of those things that if people knew who this was, they probably wouldn't like the message as much as they do now. And that's why they come in as gaseous, fiery creatures, as if they were from other planets rather than other realms. Because you can access other realms via many locations and not just through one means. And they can access you, but if they only knew who it was who said that, there would be less truth in what they were told. Let's just say a Darkonian came to say these very poetic things about life and love. And that is very sweet. And now I know what this means a lot. Oh, that makes me very happy. That was such a cute thing, wasn't it? It was very cute. Okay. Anything else? They are claiming one of the oldest quotes in the book. It's better to have loved than lost. Wait, yeah. Better to have loved than lost. And not all those who wander are lost. They're claiming that one too. They gave it to Robert Frost or whoever the fuck coined it. There's a few other things, but those two are really standing out. I'm hearing the Alice in Wonderland song about painting the roses red. I don't know why. Maybe the number 3 could be significant. Maybe it's okay, so last stream we were really, really into the number 4. The number 4 kept coming up. We kept saying, oh, 444, angel number 444. We kept catching the time at 4. I think we've switched to 3. Pardon me, but Mr. 3. Right? And I think it's a countdown. And I think we'll know it's not going to be each day because that stream was 2 days ago. It's going to be when the numbers change and we will know because it's a countdown. The counselor. Next step, number 3, go to therapy. Bro. That's like resounding overall message. And something just fell on my lap. It was the scribe. Okay, so if you can't go to therapy immediately, say you don't have insurance, say you don't have the time to schedule it. Okay. If that's what you want to do, that's what you the scribe is here to remind you to write that shit down. Keep a goddamn diary if that's what you need to call it. Some people like to say journaling. Write down your fucking feelings, read them back to yourself, read them out loud, read them to a friend who has consented to listening to them. Do what you gotta do, but do it. Take actions towards rehabilitating if you cannot actually use the means of rehabilitation via rehab or therapy or anything. You know, like self-serve, don't self-diagnose. Researching mental illnesses and saying, I have this, and having no plan of action is useless. But being like, I learned that people with these symptoms have sometimes done these methods to help curb those symptoms. That's what I have to do. I'm like, oh, some people say if I take more magnesium, it will help. It doesn't help. But hey, that's okay. Maybe I need to be more consistent about it. Here's my reminder to take some. It's been a minute, you know? But I'm having an ease of dysphoria. So, like, do I give a shit? Not this month, but I probably will next month. And then I'll regret not doing it, right? So it's that kind of thing where it's like, sure, you can have a million excuses to not do it one way, but that just means you need to come up with a way to do it some other way. Plan B, if you will, right? Ugh. Queen of Water. It's time to kind of let the fans lead. There's a reason you love the people that you love. And if you love them, you will let them lead. It's not even like if you love them, let them go. It's if you love them, let them lead you. Fucking can't go to therapy. You're being led to therapy. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You're being led to. Okay. Queen of Fire comes up along with the 9th position Fire. My ear feels like it's opening up, like I had water in there, but I didn't. And now it feels like I have water in my ear, but it's starting to clear up. So if you have water in your ear and it's trying to clear up, then that message is 100% for you. Probably a day walker if I had to guess. It really feels like I suddenly have water draining out of my ear, but I've been sitting here for the last like 5 hours. Yeah. And it's so strange, right? You're going to start seeing and hearing things very clearly. Okay. Another ace and the mother with 7th position Fire. So this is a very female dominated species, if you will, but seems like the next perhaps breed alien coming through. Let me check in and see where we're at with these. Yeah, I'm getting like Lumerian vibes, I think. Terry, I don't think that's the thing. I can't understand them. I can't read it. It's an aquatic code though. It's like But to think if sound is traveling through water, it's never going to sound the way it does traveling on land. So even if they spoke a discernible language, it would still be very hard to understand. And so the best way to do it is like this, where you're not trying to focus too much on what it says because you can't hear it. Literally, as a channel this message, and this is what's hard, it sometimes happens with like the deceased too, where if you speak two different languages, the messages are further and fewer between or mixed language or scattered in a way that's like it's a little harder to translate, but usually with human languages you can communicate it. But sometimes these other things, it's like again it's like an aquatic language because these are like underwater type creature alien vibes. This is more like like if Zoidberg wasn't speaking English and just you know, and so to channel it is like you like click off and let it just run through you because you can't listen to it and you can't directly translate it and you can't really understand what it says until you're saying it. So that's kind of the very unique experience that comes with channeling aliens is that you just find that they like that's why at first I was like, I don't understand. I don't get it. It hurts. Because I'm sitting here trying to listen to something that I can barely hear because it's underwater, you know? Anyways, click off. It very much seems like a message. It's almost like we interrupt this program to bring you. They're very funny people. It's almost like they're showing me this weird. They are very strange looking people, shape of water type shit, like but more whimsical maybe. That was creepy. Future Planet. That's a good one. That's a good reference. But in suits like a news anchor. Okay, so they're really goofy. They're really, really silly because they have this sort of unique position in the universe where there's very few things that can live in the depths of the ocean as they can. And they also have access to everything else down there. So they're basically like the people you can't knock out of their spots. And they have very little interest in conquering anything. However, they do get all the latest hot gossip throughout like the entire universe because of their position in the water. Okay. They have sent descendants up, hence the not the Loch Ness monster, that's just a whale's dick. But the creature, the lagoon, the ocean man, that's very reminiscent of who they were or who they are. But the deeper they live, the less humanoid and the less reptilian they are, right? They're bluer and they're slimier and they're it's less scaly and more arrow something. I don't know. It's very strange. They're really strange. I've never seen them before. I don't know. This is a different. It's a very different energy. It's almost like I wasn't able to connect to them because of the language barrier or the absolute fucking depth of being underwater. Yeah, it's a really different energy than the other times that we've done channeled alien messages. So they are at this place. They have a very sunny disposition. Again, they're very fun-loving people, and they're very hard to destroy. Um, no one wants where they are, and they keep to themselves, and they don't really want what other people have. Again, they've sent little creatures up to the surface once in a while just to kind of see, just to come back and tell stories. And they've learned to communicate like this through things and through the eyes of the fish, such, like such things. Um, and they don't mind. They don't mind. No, that's fine. If you eat sushi, they're not gonna kill you or anything. Or is there mercury in the water? You're like, how else do you think it got there? No, that'd be way deep of a conspiracy. That's more of a sick joke. Anyways, they're very sovereign people because of this unique position of being in an undesirable place that's unaccessible to most beings. Yeah. They're not fish though, right? They inhibit the fish. So they could care less. Who knows if the fish are cognizant if they're so easily inhibited by these creatures, right? So that's questionable. That's kind of why they made that joke where they're like, meh, I mean, it would suck to not have eyes, but they're not really sure. Like, I don't know how much compassion they have for the fish either, if they're just, doing whatever with it. So, um, it's not anything like Luca. They wish they could get to a point where they were more like Luca, where they could be in other worlds, but because of the pressure down there, because it's so inaccessible to other people, there's no chance of crossbreeding. They're like the most pure, one of the most pure bred, pretty much the most purebred species in the universe because they're the only ones who can handle the depth of the ocean they've been evolving. We all evolved from essentially the same thing, right? So if humans come from hydrothermal vents on the bottom of ocean floors, imagine these creatures do too, but they stayed down there. So it's like the bacteria that stayed. Okay, it's almost like they did develop on the planet, but they developed at the time of like water bears, which is like the oldest creature on the known planet. Yes, you can think of it that way, but as we were drawing the map, the worlds all connect via the ocean. So I'm not saying I believe in a flat earth theory because that would be false, but I believe in a netted dimension theory. Kind of can't explain it right now, but the oceans all lead to somewhere, some other ocean. Like, again, they have access to everyone and everything at all times. They hear a lot, know a lot, see a lot, and they can travel through their own worlds. They have a whole network of an ocean system in which they can go from the depths of each ocean to the universe. So they're below us, but they're above us. Yeah, that's how I see the outer space and the ocean being kind of the same. So like below us, but to the point where they're in hyperspace, vacuumed. That's why we can't go down that far, is because it's the same effect that you get in outer space for the reason that it is. It's just that you go through water at that point, and they do live in the water, but they live through vacuums. It's kind of weird. I don't know. Yeah, they're a very unique creature where they developed from the same things that we did. So they're very human like in the way that they are silly and they do broadcast. And it's not that they have a full blown civilization. Things work differently in the water. And once again, they've networked throughout the oceans. And I think they do have, it's like they're showing me Atlantis. So I think there are cities and there are those who lurk in the dark, is what they say. But yeah, they're very human like because they evolved from the same thing. Once again, our bacteria floated to the surface, their bacteria stayed down there. So we came from the same bacteria as those hydrothermal vents a long ass time ago. But because they developed, like, they were the fastest developing organism because they stayed there, because they were down there, because they didn't have to float up and evolve the whole way to be able to handle the crushing pressure, to then be able to handle a lighter experience, to then be able to handle the sun, to then be able to handle the earth, to then evolving into all these earth animals that became human. They stayed down there and they really fast. So they have like extremely advanced civilizations and they're extremely advanced creatures to be able to handle all of that. And they have their own, it's not a synthetic world. It's the way it works is so different. Like it's like this. They're able to manipulate the water, and that's how they are able to handle the pressure. Is because they've adapted to be able to be bipedal and to be able to swim. Whereas at some point they were weighed down, and they thought, as these tiny little creatures millions of years ago, they thought, we're the weak ones. We stayed here, and they floated away. They escaped. They win. They evolution. They were so wrong. They see how failing of a human, how human societies have just been crumbling and destroying each other. They have no sense of war, but it's because they have no outside enemies. They can control what happens within because there's no one opposing them, and there's disagreements to a degrees, and there's question and changing and power dynamics and treaties and such, but they have a much more advanced view on civilization and the way that they built civilization because of the general isolation that they have down there. They work with the squids. Yeah, no, it is. And the squids can get pretty fucking far up, but they get way further down than we think they do. And that's why we think squids only have a certain lifespan. is because a lot of them disappear and you never see them. And there might be a few that get caught in the crossfire. Because once you're in the ocean, you're in open waters. You're way more accessible to things in the ocean than in the deep ocean, right? Because that's the thing is they're beneath. They're like so far down there. Yeah, kind of love them. Um, they're very alien-like though. They're like exactly what we think of classic alien as. I don't know how nobody's come up with this theory that I've heard since I've been into this stuff, but I don't know. Maybe I missed something. Seems like a pretty solid theory to me. But yeah, it's cool. They've learned to manipulate water. They've built entire societies. They developed very similarly as we have, but with the pressures of the ocean. So have faith that you can evolve too. And get in tune with your emotions. Humans, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Pretty fucking crazy. Okay. Um, that's wild. That's wild. That is so cute. So anyway, what is what next? I'm hearing the hunters are the hunting. I don't know whatever that means. Kind of like let them do as they're doing. There's one message because it seems like they have everybody's business. They hear everything. And again, sometimes they send their people up like the squids, or as they see through the fish and other creatures like the coral and shit, and that's why it gets destroyed because it's their access. It's their access is the ocean. So when you see destruction, plastic, it's all stuff to cloud them from being able to contact and access us. It's very intentionally designed by other species who like want to colonize the earth worse than humans have, if that tells you anything, right? And so these creatures underwater, they're very untouchable because no one can get down there to attack them. But they know what other people are planning. And so there's this energy of they're trying to come tell us, they're trying to do their best to tell us, like, yes, you need to watch out for these things. It's not going to come in starship balloons. It's very silly. Again, you're going to see it in the ocean. You're going to see it in the sky. You're going to see they're trying to cut off contact to the outside, right? Because there's a lot of things that can help you. Galactic coalitions and other species who have been through this and know what to do. But until a majority of the people can accept that these things might be true or give it the fucking time and stop being so busy with these things that were meant to distract you, right? And some people don't believe this stuff, and so it's very hard to say that. It's very hard to say you need a certain number of people on board because it's not necessarily like that. It's like you just need the right people to be, I suppose. And kind of enough of them, but that's okay. You have different means of getting those things from people, and it's not always in a blatantly obvious it's aliens way, but in a very consensual I'm open to things. Okay. So they are the eyes and ears of the universe, and they do what's just and what's fair. They have sovereignty, and therefore they have zero pledge to anything because they do what they feel is right as a society. They're warning us. They're trying to cut off contact, and that's why pollution is at an all-time high. And that's why they are these chemtrails. They're blocking. They're not depleting the air. They're not poisoning us. They're trying to block out all frequencies and connections to other planets. So unless you know how to do it already, they're not going to be able to come through and contact you without touching ground. And they won't know when to touch ground because a lot of them only do it if something's wrong or if they need to or if there's some type of protection or rescue going on. There you go. That's beautiful. I love that. What's that a quote of? Um, but yeah, that's kind of true. So um, they are trying to block off connection to these other worlds because they can't control it and because they can't seize it, because they can't infiltrate it, because They can't admit it. They're trying to just block it out. Oh, I love that. I really love that. The scribe, journey, the seneschal, and sixth position water. I was just thinking about something beautiful. And I want to tell this story, but it's a little bit weird, isn't it? I'm a little defensive about it. And not even defensive. I was just so young, and there's so many details that I've made peace with, but I would still rather keep private. And it's funny that I'd bring it up now during all this alien talk, not saying that anyone involved is an alien or anything, but that it is the culture that surrounds us, the unknown and space and etc. So, a very long time, 10 years ago, 10 years and a month ago, I rode a train because I was going insane. I was carrying a lot of pain. I was very traumatized, and it was the first cognizant memory I have of experiencing trauma in my young adult life. Kind of went off a deep end, but instead of turning to drugs and alcohol like many of my friends, I just decided to go where my mind or the music take me. So I found myself quitting a job, up and leaving, getting on a train, and just going places. And while I was on my way, I had a composition notebook in it, and I felt like I had to explain what the fuck I was doing, even though I couldn't, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I far from understood that I could scribe or channel or deliver messages the way that I know now. These are back in the days when I wanted to believe. It's not full blown practice in the sense of knowing what it was or what it is, right? So filled up this notebook. I don't know, maybe it was only halfway, and I left it there over the days. And I don't know if anybody ever got it. I don't know if anybody ever found it. I don't know where it ended up. I know where I left it, and I know that place doesn't exist anymore because that's usually my life. A lot of the places that I've loved don't exist anymore. And, maybe I'm corrupt, maybe I'm manipulative or whatever, but I would hope that I'd be forgiven for the actions of some 20-year-old kid. When in reality, I feel very harmed. My resolve was to write a book, and I didn't. I made an album instead. That was kind of silly. There was a lot in that, and I don't know what it said, and I don't have a copy, and I never will. But it's sad because these moments I look back and I'm like, that was so unhinged and weird. But I remember how it felt being in it. I remember the way that the train station smelled in that one city that I couldn't even remember where it was, but I could describe the whole sitting. And I was being cyberbullied for the first time. And I probably deserved it, but like I didn't understand that. And I was dealing with PMDD, but I didn't know it yet. And I remember just having hope and wanting to hold on and think it would all be worth it someday. And if not for anything but a nice memory, to be able to go back to that train station and think how silly it is. Now I don't remember anything those people said or what their names were or what they meant. But I do remember that whole trip. And I do remember days when Amtrak didn't give you assigned seating tickets. And I remember uh, hardly sleeping in the red velvet of the Texas Eagle. And like the one conductor ever who took mad smoke breaks. He wanted to take a cig break in every fucking 20. Felt like it took forever to get to Texas. And I did that alone, and it seemed crazy to some people. And it sounds crazy to me now. And I honored that. I lived by my intuition without even realizing it was my intuition. or perhaps I have attributed things that were outside of me to my own inner knowing, you know? And maybe I wasn't the manipulative one after all, but there is something special about it still, where, like, somehow, even though maybe it wasn't a very good time in my life, there was a lot of really beautiful, good things to come out of that time somehow. Like, it almost does break my own heart to think that it didn't add up, you know, it never concluded, completed, or went anywhere but my own growth and development and my channeling, scribing, and my writing skills, you know. And I'm better at, not having only one original copy and trying not to destroy as much as I used to. So, um, that was just, I don't know why, I don't know why I wanted to share that, but I did. Queen of Earth and Desire. I guess I wanted to, as a Taurus. I gotta say that feels like a call out. I guess I just wanted to. And now you know a little bit more about me, I suppose. Although I don't know if knowing someone is knowing the things that they've done. What is the way to know someone? Oh, okay. Emotion and intellect. Okay. Whew. The eights, 888. You're 8. This is 8. Probably 8 a.m. Goddamn. We have the self here. A reminder to stay true to you. A reminder that you need to do you. A reminder that it's only you, right? Looking from the window above, it's like a story of love. Can you hear me? Think back on the yesterday, moving further away. Want you near me? All I needed was the love you gave. All I needed for another day. And all I ever knew, only you. That's you to you. That's not me to you. That's not you to me. That's you to you. All I ever knew is only you. Sing that in the mirror. Sing it in the mirror for you, right? It is a story of love, self love, love for you, love for yourself, love for your reflection, for the things that you are. Oh my goodness, I was going like this, and you wouldn't believe what card is sitting up right next to me. This fire card of the ladies doing the same fucking thing. I love that. Second position, fire. Who, me? The responsibility. Oh, second position, air. Both the feminine and the masculine having masculine energy. It's almost like the feminine realizing there's two sides of them while the masculine is balancing the two sides of them. So, you know, seventh position, air. This is finally something that the masculine can teach the feminine is balancing the dynamics of their own persons. It's not necessarily the unbalance of the feminine and masculine energies within, but having two distinct personalities. And not in like a disordered way. Not that there's anything wrong with people who have those kind of disorders, but just one of those things where, like, yeah, they're trying to help them. The youth is here. So the secret to staying young is being young. So whenever someone tries to tell you that certain things are childish or meant for babies or other insulting things about how you should give up your loves and hobbies, obviously we're not talking about like being in relations with children. That is disgusting and meant for children and not for you to be creepy and be like, no, it's just me living my youth. Like, don't be gross. I'm talking about adults who watch cartoons or collect action figures or like to do silly things or smoke weed or drink, soda or whatever the fuck their thing is. Eating sugar in general, just whatever people dog you for being immature. It's the way that you're staying connected, right? Thank you for the Chaos Collective follow. There is this connection to your inner child that keeps you youthful and keeps you feeling and staying young. So there's definitely a need to keep doing those things and not let people talk you out of them. The more they say something is childish, and I'm not talking about your behavior, because if your behavior is childish and your actions are childish, then that does need to be worked upon, and that is a little unacceptable. But if your hobbies and your interests in your collector's items are deemed childish, then they can fuck off. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's definitely a distinction between just like being immature as a person and having things in your life that people perceive as immature. Okay, so we're talking about that second option. I really have that song stuck in my head now, though. This is gonna take a long time, and I wonder what's fine. I can't take no more. I don't know. Thinking that you'll understand, it's just a touch of a hand behind a closed door. All I needed was the love you gave. All I needed for another day. And all I ever knew. Only you. Good. I'm glad you're eating. So we had this pile was a little bit on its side. So when I read tarot, when it's in the upright, thank you. Thank you. That's my number one favorite compliment ever. Okay, thank you. This pile was on its side, so when it's in the upright, it is what it is. When it's in the reverse, it's the opposite. So if it's on its side, it can go either way, right? So wisdom, union, the counselor, and faith on its side. You know this connection's hanging in the balances. You know that this could work out, and you know just to have faith and stay strong while this person works on themselves, but you're just not sure it's gonna happen. That's on that. But again, write it down, feel it out, go on this journey, get a second opinion, and trust the feminine. Look at this hand reaching out. Can't really see it, it's so bright. This last one here, right? You see her? She's got her hand reaching out in the back there. So it's like maybe put it in a letter. Oof, I that felt like someone else was saying it. I keep thinking of this song I don't really know. And it's like, should I write you? Not love song. Mixing up songs now. Some emo shit. Should I put it in something? Or something like that. I don't know what it is. Something I think I know what song I'm talking about, like Paper Kites or something like that. It's some band I don't know. It's just like I know this one song comes up on my shuffle sometimes. I think it's called Bloom because there's flowers on the album cover, but I can't remember. In Bloom. No, that's Nirvana, right? I don't know. Something like that. Yeah, so it's just like somehow stay hopeful, which sounds fucking bizarre. And just be delicate with what you hold in your arms. Um, and this is not to stay hopeful in a connection or a relationship in general. Remember, this is sort of very general channel messages from the extraterrestrials rather than the twin flame readings that it was. So just like know the difference, right? Wisdom, union, the child. Okay, so there might be a union, but there might still be. They're like, no, no, no. It's not mutually unexclusive. Like it can be both. Yeah, mother, target, wisdom, something, union, the child. I don't know. Could be like somebody's gonna have a baby with somebody or some shit like that. I don't know. Personally, I'm all no gods, no masters, no dogs, no children. Not such a pretty song. Um, yeah, duality, balance, and yeah. So take my hand, Disappear to yeah, something's out of alignment right now. Someone has miscalculated something that is like uh kind of like could be taking too long or took too long. Something I kind of think of being public. Yeah, it took too long. That candy's gone. That's what happened. But we're working out the details. Working out the details. Queen of Air. You might have to take a bit more charge than you had expected. The feminines in masculine energy being like the femme presenting air element, queen of air, and double femme here, third position water coming up again, being ready for anything, right? And knowing how to handle it when it arises. That's such feminine power. But working together and trusting that the masculines know what they're doing too. I saw hair and now it's gone. I pull it and I think it fell. Okay, that's cool. Destiny. Embrace that what is unfolding is meant to unfold. And there's very, very few things that can stop this from happening, regardless of what this is. And because this is coming from these ascended masters, so to speak, there is this the child. It's almost to say that the humans are such a young, fragile, and unknowing, uneducated, immature species in general. Human beings are high on Earth, low in the universe, and not as high on Earth as they think. It's what we deem to be evolved, is what we consider evolved. But there are species so evolved that they've gone unnoticed by humans entirely, and I would say that they've outsmarted us in that way, don't you think? The ones who have willingly been domesticated by us so that they have to work very little for food, drink, survival, shelter. Okay, we think we're so smart, and yet we're working so hard. We're struggling, we're dying, we're killing each other. How the fuck do we think that one will ever be or two on this planet? Like, okay, so the sooner you can come to terms with these little truths, the more knowledge that you accept from these things. Look, Queen of Air, Queen of Water, being fearful, being in denial, acting hastily, being cutthroat, not great energy. Queen of Water, going with the flow, being nurturing, caring, and compassionate, being able to fill your cup but having boundaries to never be empty. Welcome back. Self reflection. Who, me? Yes, you. Couldn't be. Then who? I want to hear about no damn courage. I know. Knowledge. Didn't I just say that? King of Water. Masculine, learning to go with the flow as well. Here's the reptilians. And no, we don't hate reptilians on this channel. We understand that every species, any species, and all species that have ever been known on this fucking earth have had some good and some bad. That's why, good morning. Holy fucking shit, what time is it? That's why every species on the planet has good and bad people or animals or whatever. Some lions eat people, some tigers are stage performers, it's like a mix. So I also realize I have two piles or three piles of two, but I'm mixing them up now. Yeah. Now it's two piles of three, but now it's going to be three piles of two again. Okay, so we play this little magic game. And what this is, because I said reptilians, right? We got the reptilian card, the ace. First position, Earth is my definitely talking to reptilians, right? So just like the other one was like the underwater people. The Ace of Cups is the underwater creatures that we were talking to earlier. The Ace of Earth is the reptilians. The Ace of Fire is the Darkonians. LOL. Holy fuck. Unhinged fucking Monday, I guess. It's not usually my style, but who cares? The Darkonians would be first position fire, and then the first position air is kind of a wild card. The air is almost to represent like anybody coming through. It's been those robotic ones. It's been the Pleiadians, the Greys, like they all kind of anybody else comes through. But my three main lines are for the reptilians, the draconians, and the I don't know, the aquatic people. I just call them the aquatic people. They are very human-like. They're the most similar to humans, just because the civilization developed on the plane of this earth. But anyways, I have three piles here, and in regards to the reptilians, this is a pick a pile, and we mixed it up. They are face down. It's 6 cards that are face down. They were each 2 to a pile, but we just mixed them up and switched them around. So basically, what you're going to do now is you're going to think of 3 different things or 3 different questions or whatever you're asking me or them or whatever have you. We're doing a pick a pile early morning. This is probably going to be it, by the way. I got like 9 minutes on the pre-roll timer, and I feel like I should just roll the ads now so that we don't get interrupted during the reading, so that we can just do the reading. Because I don't know. Hopefully, it only takes 9 minutes, but in the event that it takes like 10 minutes, I don't want to have to interrupt for like one card because it is only 6 cards. But like, we'll probably mix them up more, and it'll give y'all time to think of your questions or your topics. Yeah, I'm really, really careful to keep on top of my ads to not do the auto rolls, because I don't know that they really tell you when they go off. So we're really diligent about that over here. So yeah, I'm gonna roll the ads so we don't get interrupted. So think of your 3 topics or questions that they don't have to be relevant to aliens, but this is like the advice or the roulette with the reptilians. This is roulette with reptilians, okay? Um, so yeah, anything you want to know that will help your alignment or enable you to be a better person. That's kind of the topic at hand. Yeah, so write it down or make a note of it or just think of it. You don't have, I prefer people don't put it in the chat when we do stuff like this, but do what you got to do. Okay, we'll be back in 3 minutes. Ooh, behind the scenes content for all my amazing subscribers. You get to watch me smoke weed when no one else does. They have to watch freaking ads unless they're watching the replay. You should subscribe to my channel so you don't have to watch ads and you get to watch me smoke weed and other random behind the scenes moments that you only get by being a subscriber to me. And like some pretty lame emotes, but I'm working on it. They're gonna get better. Okay. Did we shuffle them enough? Find out. Okay. I'm so sorry. I will rip it again with you. You let me know. Okay, so conflicting messages, kind of. Not really conflicting necessarily, but look, we got another ace. So I think I shuffled the deck, but yeah, the reptilians have this message, and the Lumerians, but this is the aquatic people, but it's the Lumerians. Um, all things. Okay, so this, I think the Lumerians are sending a message because earlier I said that the first position water was those aquatic people, but I think it's a few different species that come through on this. The Lumerians' message is that all things are orchestrated. Hi, you're joining. Oh wait, you're in a way different time zone. It's like evening for you, right? I feel like usually it's like 7 p.m. So right now would be like 10 p.m. for you or something like that. It's just like hella crazy, like 5 a.m. right now. Been up streaming for the last 5 hours. Anyways, the Lumerian message is that everything is divinely orchestrated in life and that the only way to live your best life is to take the most honorable path. Okay, so I was backwards, but yeah. Um, Take the most honorable path and choose to be your own hero or to be a hero to others, um, and to embrace like not only the unknown or the infinite but like to embrace all journeys of life and what being the hero would mean in any context and not just being the one who steps up and gets the glory and becomes Batman, but to be a hero in your everyday life and to be a hero to the people who look up to you and the people who are guided by you, right? Is to be the hero, to play the role of the hero is to be noble, is to be humble, is to be helpful, is to be um, heroic in the sense of bravery, courage, facing the truth, facing the opposition, the evil, etc., doing the right thing, knowing what to do. The Marians are believed to be alien species that I think kind of live in the mountains. I think I don't know either. I know the name. I don't know. When I talk about stuff, I know a little bit that I've picked up along the way. I love you so much. I'm so happy for you. I knew it was gonna be a good day, right? Good morning, by the way, to the daywalkers. We've been up all fucking night over here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I love that you're starting your day with me. I think that means it's going to be a great day. An evil Scotsman appeared. All right. Kind of, I'm like, it's going to be a great day. Then my arch nemesis showed up. No, I'm just kidding, dude. Welcome, 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 welcome. Good evening to those of you who are 5 p.m.ing it. Yeah, I can't. I do. Waking up anytime before 10 a.m. fucking blows for me. Like, literally, my brain function is so